Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and to this time-lapse version of a golden retriever, as always in my favourite medium, soft pastel. If you do enjoy this here, then do check out the rest of my playlists on YouTube for more time lapses, as well as lots of real-time videos too. And if you want even more, visit me on Patreon where you'll find my full catalogue of real-time tutorials. This beautiful golden retriever was painted as a surprise gift for someone this Christmas, and it's one of those times that I'm really glad as an artist to be able to bring an older, not so great photograph back to life again, and that was the case with this piece. It wasn't the best, clearest photograph to work from, but I could see some potential in it, and I could see the beautiful big eyes of the dog very clearly. And that gave me enough to go on, and using photographs of the dog from other angles and in different lighting, I was able to piece together the rest and hopefully come up with something that is a lovely memorial of this beautiful dog. So as always, using my soft pastel sticks. It's quite a simple portrait, just head and the top of the shoulders, and quite a dark background to set off all the lovely light yellow tones on the dog. So I'm working around the edges a lot first, up around the top of the head, using a mixture of unison soft pastel sticks, and then also coming in with some pastel pencil for finer details. But in this piece I didn't have that many finer details to create, so actually a lot of it is done with the soft pastel sticks. Because there wasn't a lot of detail in the photo reference, I decided to use velour pastel paper for this piece. Probably my favourite pastel paper when I'm trying to be a bit looser and a bit more expressive with my marks, which I often try to do when the photo reference isn't 100% clear. Sometimes that's how I do it these days, saving pastel matte paper, my other favourite, for when I get a photo reference that's super high res with every little hair and detail visible. And then I really do rely on the lovely soft velour texture for when I need to be a bit looser and not necessarily paint each individual little hair. So you can see the broadness of the marks that I'm making. It's not going to go super detailed like a lot of my work does. So it's a slightly different approach when I can see less detail in the photo reference. But I enjoy doing these ones sometimes. I'm always saying that you need to ask for better photo reference and be more choosy about what photos you take on as commissions. But there are exceptions to every rule, because I still take on, amongst my higher resolution photos for other commissions, I do take on the occasional challenge like this. And as long as it's above a certain standard, sometimes you can really bring out more than what was in the photo reference to begin with. And it's a really nice part of my job, that being able to take a memory that may only exist in very poor quality and really try to preserve it and increase the quality. So that's something I'll be talking about a lot in the longer versions of this video. If you'd like to learn more from me, then do visit my Patreon channel. Next month I'm going to focus on golden retrievers, as I've had a string of golden retrievers recently and they've got such a beautiful texture and colour of fur, and I get to paint so many golden retriever type dogs, so it's obviously a popular type of dog to learn how to paint. So there will be a real-time version of this if you're interested in learning or even having a go and painting along with me. you can learn so much from a smaller project like this. But if you're interested in painting golden retrievers, then definitely do check out my Patreon channel, as we're going to spend a full month looking at different examples, different lighting, different levels of detail in the photo reference, different papers. So the lighting in this piece was also tricky. It was an indoor setting, and there was also a coffee table just in front of the dog here, covering the bottom part of the face. So I had a little bit of work to do with the composition as well. But it's simplified into quite an effective little head portrait. So again, not a huge amount of detail going into the nose either. Just trying to bring out a couple of subtle highlights. Because the lighting is indoor, a lot of it was coming down from above the dog, as you do tend to get with indoor lights. And then also because there was a table in front of the dog which I removed, it was casting quite a dark shadow on the chest of the dog. So I had a few things to figure out with the colours in this one, using lots of yellow tones and lilac tones then in the shadow areas. So making use of opposite colours. Clearly I'm using yellow tones because we're looking at a yellow retriever. But try and think of the colours that will be most useful in the shadow areas. And you're often going to look at the opposite side of the colour wheel for that. So if you've got the main colour for your dog, look up what the opposite colour of that would be and see if you can include some of it in the portrait somewhere. This is the thing about colour theory, it always feels a bit mad when you're first doing it, but once you've applied the theory a few times, you start to trust it more and more as you see it happen in front of your eyes. So I'm always talking about colour in my tutorials, trying to encourage my students to branch out into multicoloured tints, midtones and shades. So like I mentioned, there are dark shadows on this part of the dog, and I couldn't figure out whether I should leave the shadow of the ear as dark as it was, what to do with the shadow under the chin. And I eventually did decide to lighten those a little bit. Again, bringing in some warm, vibrant yellows and some lilacs in the shadows. So I hope that you've enjoyed this speeded up version. As I mentioned, you can access the full real-time tutorial from this on my Patreon channel. But if you've enjoyed this here, then please do subscribe on YouTube, hit the little bell notification so that you get notified when I make new content. But thanks for watching this, and until next time, happy pasteling.